YouTube family in the house. What's up, everybody? Thank you very much for tuning in. So if you're watching, you have probably caught onto the whim of my lemon law with my Ford Fusion, and you probably want to know what the heck I'm gonna do next. So basically, to catch you guys up if you didn't watch the last episode, I've opted for the buyback with Ford. I did speak with a woman from RAV. This is Ford Corporate. Now, the RAV is the reacquired vehicles team. And basically, what she told me was, I need a bunch of documents. I need payment history on the car. I need receipts of registration that I've paid on the car. And I need my original DMV long form. Well, wouldn't you know it, the one car I can't find my freaking long form to is my Fusion. I find every other car I've ever bought in my entire life except for my Fusion. So luckily I was able to get that from the dealer, which is good. The dealer did have that, so that was nice. And then as far as my payment history, Golden One's a joke. Like, they've given me 3 different fax numbers, and the fax numbers have been busy all day long. I fax for my job, so my fax basically tries to refax every 19 minutes. For an hour, and if not, it goes through as a no response. So, like, I was kind of disappointed in Golden One by that. I called them and they said, oh, well, shoot us an email with the same request. I sent them an email and they basically said, send a fax. So, now it's interesting because the lady at RAV actually told me Golden One is the most difficult to deal with. She said that they're the hardest people to get information from and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if she planted that in my brain or if it's actually, like, legitimately what's happening to me. I've come to the conclusion that, you know, I think it's going to just be, I think it's going to work out for the best. I just got to give it some time. So Ford is a website, myfordhelp.com. It's basically a website to sign for people who are going through the lemon law buyback process of a replacement vehicle or not. And, you know, it's a good website. I was able to upload all my documents, no problem. So I got that all uploaded over this weekend. I'm hoping to hear back from her today, is really what I'm hoping to hear back. Not on a, is everything cool, but just a touch. On the My Ford Help, there's steps, like step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1 is welcome call. Well, technically, I call proactively and I talk to her. So she said, oh, our welcome call was done. Well, on the My Ford Help, it doesn't say that the welcome call was done. It still just says that it's pending. I did, like I said, talk to the RAV person at Folsom Lake Ford about some of my options. She once again also suggested that I just do the buyback and then pick another Ford. So here's the thing. I don't have to buy another Ford, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm going to be in pretty good shape to buy another car. So now I'm in an area in my life where I'm like, hey, look, what do I really want? Like, what is it that I really want and will spend the money on? I have a target price of kind of what I want to spend. And I mean, I don't even have to do that. That's like my maximum. So one of the cars that I've always kicked around for a very long time has actually been, it's a Subaru WRX STI. Has been something that I've kicked around for a very long time. And the reason why is just because I like the car, I like the noise, it looks cool, I like the big wing, power delivery, etc. But I mean, that car's old. It's been out since 2004, essentially the same car. So, you know, why are you going to spend $40,000 on something that technically you could probably go find one used that has 20,000 miles and save yourself 15 grand? So let's jump to the other car that's hot on my list, the Civic Type R. I had the pleasure, my buddy and I, we went to go look at the Civic Type R. There's one in Folsom, actually, at Honda. It's a silver one. Not the color I would pick, but at least it was a Type R. And my experience there wasn't bad. I mean, it was a really nice guy, came out to show it to me. It was sitting on the showroom. It was locked, obviously. And you're talking about a car that has an MSRP of about $37,000. Plus the car had a $10,000 markup. So That's insane to me. 10 grand markup. Now here's the problem. I'm not paying $50,000 for a Civic. Just like I don't think people should have paid $50,000 for a Focus. Hell, I don't think you should pay $50,000 for an STI. That's a lot of money. And the problem is that you're pricing yourself out of the sports car, like, what's a good way to put it? I put the GTI, the Golf R, the Type R, the STI, I put those in a category that I like to say is like a kind of like boy racer, I guess might be the best way to explain it. It's not really a premium car. They're economy cars with a motor that are maxed out on options. So I mean, realistically, you're looking at an economy sports car. Okay, now an economy sports car for $25,000 or $30,000, I understand. But an economy sports car for 40 grand, I mean, you're entering the level of you could buy really, really, really nice cars that are used. Let's use the target goal of 40 grand. Okay, let's just use that as the target goal. Let me tell you the type of cars that you can get for $40,000. You could get a low mileage Porsche Panamera Turbo. Now, for those of you that don't know, a Panamera Turbo is a 4-door Porsche. It's like a crossover, but it's a V8 turbo with 550 horsepower. And you get a Porsche for 40 grand. You could get an Infiniti Q50 R400, which is a turbocharged 6-cylinder. So it's a Infiniti. It's their sedan. It's their Q50, but it's a rear-wheel drive, 8-speed automatic with 400 horsepower, and you're driving around in Infiniti. Okay, you could get a Mercedes CL63 AMG at 650 horsepower, and you're driving a supercharged V8 with a Mercedes badge on it for the same price you would be paying for a Type R. Or hell, even an STI, to be honest with you. I mean, a fully optioned STI is 44, so I mean, that's insane. So, like I said, I'm at this crossroads where, I mean, even the Golf R is $40,000. And I mean, that's a Golf. It's a Golf. So you ask yourself, what do you really want it for? Okay. Right now, so many things have 300 horsepower. It's not even funny. So many things. So are you paying the premium for the 300 horsepower, or are you paying the premium because of the name? Let me give you an example. The WRX. Okay, so the WRX all-wheel drive, 6-speed, 268 horsepower. I could get one of those out the door, taxes and everything, for about $28,000. That's half the price. And will I still have as much fun in it as an STI? Probably. Now, will I forever lust for an STI when I see one? Yes, because I've done that before. I've bought the car that's not quite the one I wanted because it's the only one I could afford. For instance, I had a 2006 BMW 335 CI with the ZHP performance package. Effectively, what that is, it's an M3 that does not have an M3 motor in it, but it was a 6-speed, hell of a car to drive. I mean, when they say ultimate driving machine, the BMW really is a good car. I mean, it was my second German car. I did have a Mercedes prior to that, so I was used to the German feel, but I mean, it was a premium car, but it wasn't the M3, and I wanted the M3. So the thing about it is that you have to ask yourself, where are you in your process of what you really want? And here's the thing. If you buy a car that is fast, okay, but you don't have... Everybody always asks me, Eddie, what are you going to do with it? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it. I mean, 90% of the time, I'm going to be taking it to work. driving spiritedly to work, and then taking the kids to school. That's what I'm going to be doing. My commute is about 7 miles every day. I don't necessarily drive in traffic, but I don't necessarily drive where it's just wide open roads. It's kind of like moderate. So I don't feel like, I don't know. I just don't know. And like I said, I can get so much more for the money. So much more. And if you buy a used car, obviously you don't take the hit on depreciation as much, because the car kind of holds, especially if you get like a special car. Here's what I mean by that. One of the cars I was looking at a black 4-door Cadillac CTS-V. It's a supercharged V8, 640 horsepower rear-wheel drive. You look like freaking Darth Vader when you're driving the car. It's a cool looking car. Big enough for the family, super fast. It gives you a level of refinement, like, because it's a Cadillac, you know? It's a nice car. It's 40 grand. So it's like, what do I do? So do me a favor, post down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm torn all over the place on what I want to do. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to settle. I guess that's the big thing for me is I don't want to just settle with where I am. Now, if I do get a car that is cheaper, okay, that would probably be the more responsible thing to do, is to buy a car that's cheaper. But I think if I buy a car that's cheaper, unless it's the WRX, you know what though, I drove the WRX, it doesn't feel like the STI at all, okay? I drove to Shingle Springs Subaru, and I test drove an STI, and it was nothing short of amazing. Like, I got out of that car and I was like, oh my God, I would buy that. It was a great test drive. It was up in the mountains. It was right where the STI is, completely at home. It was phenomenal. I drove the WRX, and I drove it in Elk Grove straight on a frontage road next to the freeway. Okay, that's like the worst place you could drive an all-wheel drive sports car, is on a flat road next to the freeway. Like, it doesn't have straight line speed, so what really are you testing, you know? So yeah, it's one of those things where, like I said, I'm kind of in a tough spot, and I'd like some advice on kind of what to do. Keep in mind, you know, I mean, I'm 34. Do I really want to portray the boy racer thing? I mean, I do go to car meets, but what's another WRX out at the car meet? You know, what's another STI? If you get something that's more premium, I don't know. Comment down below, let me know. Have a great day. I'll keep you guys updated. If I hear anything back from Ford, I'll post another video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.